Well, one thing I'd like to call attention to for sure is the fact that there were a couple of petitions signed by sufficient numbers of people, which was raised from 5,000 to 25,000 just within the past month, to attract the attention of the White House. They've got to, try to reach out to the public. And so one of these two of them dealt with aliens, if you will, and they did elicit a response, amazingly enough. Now, the first petition, the Paradigm Research Group, Steve Bassett's group, it said, quote, "We, the undersigned, strongly urge the President of the United States to formally acknowledge an extraterrestrial presence engaging the human race and immediately release into the public domain all files from all agencies and military services relevant to this phenomenon." That's a big mouthful. And I didn't sign the petition, as a matter of fact, because I feel very strongly, having worked under security for 14 years, that there are things that should not be released. If we've learned anything technologically, should we put it out on the radio and tell our enemies without them having to do the same thing? I don't think so. And so I think there is a national security side to this thing. However, even though I didn't sign it, I was rather upset when the White House responded, which they did do. It was the Office of Scientific Policy, and it came from a guy called Phil Larson, a research assistant. And among the key things he said was, the U.S. government has no evidence that any life exists outside our planet, or that an extraterrestrial presence has contacted or engaged any member of the human race. In addition, there is no credible information to suggest that any evidence is being hidden from the public's eye. Now, that's the biggest bowl of baloney I've heard since I visited the delicatessen downtown. I mean, there's loads of evidence that there is life outside our planet coming here. And certainly there has been contact with Earthlings. You had Kathleen Marden on, and in our book, Captured, you certainly talk about overwhelming evidence that there was contact between aliens and two members of the human race. And to say that there's nothing being hidden is ludicrous. I used to get a big laugh at all my lectures by showing the blacked out documents from the CIA UFO documents and the whited out documents from the National Security Agency. Not hidden? Come on. So I responded and got some feedback. But I think it's an indication of today's world that a guy working at the White House can put out such baloney and get away with it. And I've got some people mad at me for my officially saying, and I did this in a column in the MUFON Journal, which should be there next month, for saying that he flat out lied, Mr. Larson. Oh, you can't say things like that. It makes people angry. Well, it's about time somebody made people angry for the government to stop lying. I mean, when you say there is no evidence, what can you tell me about those 156 NSA UFO documents on which you can read one or two sentences per page? Everything else is whited out. That's much nicer than using blackout as the CIA did, where there are documents, UFO documents by their definition, where you can read 8 words. My favorite is one that says, deny in toto. They couldn't find 8 words to declassify there. Not hiding anything? It's really crazy, the stuff that the government's gotten away with. So I'm on a kick to get other people to realize that being Mr. Nice Guy doesn't work. It's time you called a lie, rather than say, well, he didn't know any better. If you're at the White House Office of Scientific Policy, you should know better before you open your mouth. Especially if you got the word science in the office. The key rule in science is to derive your views from the evidence. And if you haven't studied the evidence, then shut up. That's my approach anyway. When there is so much evidence. And